just overall trying to accomplish as a staff at this event?
Just it's an advantage, not so much because of the games. When you have these foreign tours, it's the 10 practices, the early practices, as you get to lay a foundation with your team, and that's the biggest thing that we're trying to get out of this. The wins don't matter; they don't go on anybody's record. Obviously, we want to win all the games, but it's the foundation that we're laying with this young, talented group through those early 10 practices that we got, that we're hoping makes a big difference down towards the end of the season.
What do you hope specifically with the practices that it will translate? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just the chemistry, the camaraderie. It's those things that you can't replicate, through individual workouts. And most teams, aren't taking foreign tours, and it happens every 4 years. So we're just trying to get the benefit out of it with this group. That these guys, and what we're finding out, you've got a group of unselfish, talented players who just want to win. And when you've got a group like that, some good things can happen.
And how much of that is off the court? You know what I mean?
These guys get along. They're a fun-loving group. They like to have fun. We got a lot of goofy freshmen that have dynamic personalities, as you guys are learning. But that kind of this young energy and passion bleeds onto the court because they like to have that kind of fun competing on the floor.
And are you going on the catamaran tomorrow?
No, we've got some other plans with some other guys on the staff. I've done it. I've been on the catamaran probably 10 times down here, so I'm going to pass on that one tomorrow.
That sounds dangerous to me. I'm a landlubber. What?
Actually, it's not. It's a safe trip. It's a big boat. You take it out to a island, private island, not too far away, and they park it and they do a cookout for you, and the guys are swimming in the water, and it's a pretty neat and fun deal for not just the players but for the fans involved too.
I wonder too. Every time with coaches, the answer is usually more time in the gym, more time in the gym, and I always wonder, maybe on occasion it's good to have less time in the gym and go on a catamaran.
And that's part of the whole building the chemistry, the camaraderie with these guys is. You build it through practice and all those things, but you got to take advantage of this type of setting, and you can build it in different ways. Taking the guys on the catamaran trip is one of those ways that get them out of their setting, get them out of their element, and let their personalities come out.
Tony, what kind of defensive team can this group be? I know you work with.
It's still early. I think because of the quickness and the length of our guards, and that's where your defense started, is on the ball, that it can be one of the best ones that we've had since I've been here. A part of the Kentucky program, but it's still too early. If you watched the game last night, we haven't talked defense at all through any of the 10 practices. We wanted it to be a fun summer. The guys are worried about offense, sharing the ball, playing unselfish, putting some principles defensively, and we made a lot of mistakes last night defensively because we just haven't worked on it. We haven't taught these guys, but when you look at the qualities of this team. Guard, quickness, and anticipation. Big, physical, athletic bigs, long wings, 6'6", 6'7" on the wing. We got all the attributes that we need to be a fantastic defensive team.
Ashton and Keldon, in particular, as freshmen, have been kind of lauded for their defensive ability. How do they compare against guys who maybe normally, with those recruiting rankings, don't care as much about that side of the ball?
Those guys, they play the game with the joy. They just bleeds into all aspects of their game. So I don't know if they concentrated on defense before they got here in their games, but it's just the joy that they have playing the game, and it's not just scoring the ball. These guys have been coached before they got here. They've been taught the right way, so then it just makes it easy for us to mold and shape them into what we want to see out of them.
What are your kind of thoughts of the rule changes that were announced yesterday, specifically kind of the recruiting stuff that's probably going to change your guys' schedule a little bit?
To be honest with you, I haven't looked at them. We've talked about them a little bit. I know we've added some to trying to put more of the emphasis back on the high school coaches. So, we'll see. It's too early to tell what the changes mean to recruiting in general.
Kenny, you know this league really well. Obviously, a lot of SEC teams are ranked really highly this year. What do you think's made the difference in basketball in this league in the last 4 or 5 years?
I don't know, but this is the best. Last year I thought was the best I've seen the SEC. This year I think it's going to be even tougher, top to bottom. So it's going to be a tough, competitive conference every night, and it's become one of the top conferences in the country.
Does that prepare you guys for the tournament better
Absolutely.
than if you you maybe had gone months without playing more?
Absolutely. I think it's a huge advantage. I mean, you just look at the way last year's team struggled early and then grew up. That's the typical pattern on Cal's teams anyway. But I think last year's conference schedule helped in that way, helped these guys grow up under every night under fire. So when it came conference tournament time, NCAA tournament time, they were ready.
And I know you can't talk about specific recruits, but just wanted to give you a chance to respond to the unprofessional comment last week, if that was anything you wanted to address.
Well, I'm not responding to the comment in general, but I've worked for Cal a long time. I've recruited a lot of players for Cal, including a lot of the guys on this team. And you'd be hard-pressed to find any player we've ever recruited, even ones who decided not to come to Kentucky, of a player or a parent ever say that we were ever unprofessional in our recruiting. The way we approach recruiting, that this is about the kids and their families and what's best for them, not about what's best for us. Cal said it a million times, Kentucky's not for everybody. It takes a special breed to want to play here.
How difficult, he's mentioned that last week, you've got to find guys who are good enough to also really want to be here. How hard is that process?
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of guys that want to be special, that want to play in an environment, in a program that values and cares about basketball. That's Kentucky at its heart.